I moved to New York. I lived in New York. I lived down in a village back. This is before like New York became all cleaned up. You know, it was like now it's like really, and there was and half the buildings were vacant and squatters down in the village. And I had a basement apartment for $125. It was underneath. It was in a basement, and there was a well there, like a well, and there was just this little room, and I had gates, you know, across. When you've seen those gates like across the window, and it was so hot one morning. My bed was right there, and a buddy of mine had left me a .22 pistol. The guy who I got the apartment from, he said, "You might need this sometime," which I didn't really think about. I just kept it up by the head of my bed. You know, I just kept this .22 pistol there. And one morning, it was so hot at night. It was summer. I opened the gates like an insane thing. I'll get more air if I open this gate, you know, the security gate. And like 5 o'clock in the morning, this guy is crawling in across the bottom of my bed. This guy's just crawling in, right? And I grabbed the gun, and he went, "Oh man, sorry, I thought it was my place," and backed out. I go, "That's quick, man. That's guy, like he enters his place through the window all the time." And that. We had rats, and my girlfriend was living with me for a time. We had rats, like they chewed through the wall. And one night I was in a gig. I was doing this little Jersey gig for like $50 or something. And I called back and said, "I'll be home watching." She goes, "You gotta come home now. There are rats all over the apartment. Rats. And I go, "All right, man." I go home and I'm half drunk and I'm high. And I come in, I grab the .22, and there are like 4 rats in our. This is like a one room. So I don't even think. I start shooting at the rats with the gun. She's screaming, I'm popping a little. 22's in a closed area. I didn't think, oh, maybe ricochet, you know? I didn't even think. I'm like, bam, bam, bam. The rats, they look at me like, and they just saunter off and leave, and they go through this hole they chewed in the wall. They leave, right? Well, I don't realize that the guy living next door hears gunshots and a woman screaming. So he calls the police. So a couple of minutes later, you know, I'm smoking a joint. We're sitting there, you know, talking about what just happened. You know, rats, gunfire. It's like not normal. It's something to talk about, you know? It's like, how'd your day go? I don't know, we came home, I shot some rats, you know? How was your day, honey? Next thing you know, there's a pounding on the door, right? And I'd never heard this before. I'd seen movies, I heard it in movies, but it was like the first time I ever heard it go, "Open up, it's the police." I don't want to go, "You'll never take me alive." No. But my instinct was to yell that, but I was like, oh, maybe it is the police. Because I thought somebody was just goofing, you know? I opened up, and 2 New York cops came in, you know? And this was back in the 70s where they had like long hair cops, and they come in, I was like looking at them first going, "Are you really cops, you know?" Because they got like long, you know what I mean? They walk in and they go, "We heard you know, there was a report of gunshots and a woman screaming," and we're like, I'm holding the joint with a .22 next to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll tell you what happened." Like, I don't even think, you know, maybe this is not an activity, you know, like I got a gun, I got a joint. I'm just going, "Yeah, there were rats here," and she was screaming, "I was shooting rats," and they left through that hole there, officer. I left through that hole. And he's like, "Well, what were you shooting them with?" I go, "That .22 right there." And he picks up 20, he goes, "You're shooting a .22 at New York City rats? You need something bigger than this, man." And he took the gun and he left, right? And I didn't even realize there was like a gun law. Like in New York, you can't have an unregistered gun. But they were like so happy they didn't have to do paperwork for a murder, you know? They were like, "Yeah, we take the gun, we leave, everybody's okay," you know?